Hey everyone, Salty Stark here. Summer's Rush has been out for a few days now, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it, so I decided to make a video on the units and stuff like that. Big factors to think about are a lot of people, in my opinion, just go for, damage and other stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they're kind of like missing the target of what kind of game this is, where you just need a lot of buffers and debuffers. So, we're going to talk about units and what units I think are good. Units that replace like the top tier units. So we'll start with Sky Rush or Sky Island, whatever it's called. Um, Kitten Dashing is you're going to be your defense break. Can be replaced with Shannon until you get Keaton. Sabrina, she's on banner right now. Just a really good damage unit. She does 20% buff to double hit and 20% increased damage on crits. Speaking of crits, Cassandra, I feel like is probably, as far as Awakening 3s goes, the best unit in the game, just because she activates all your other units when she's Awakened 3 at the start of everything, which is very important because there's a lot of units that, do one thing, but if they crit, they do a lot more. Uh, when it comes to this, we're talking about units like Shiwa, where, it's nice that she does the movement speed down. It's really good for tower defense, but kind of useless in the overworld. But really comes online when you get the crit attack in the stages, just due to the fact that now you are increasing your damage by 20%. Gragon's another one. The Petrified's really good, and the Reduced to Evasion's really good, but he also comes online with a crush rate of 20%. Another one would be Delphoy, which I don't have unlocked. She does crush damage by 20%. So, and sleep. That's really good for stages and tower defense. Jean just does increased 20% damage to herself, but Jean's really good because of the increased attack speed to all units, which means, from my experience, I haven't really done like the mathematics behind the game, but the more something attacks, the faster their ult charge gets up, kind of like how it works in Chronicles. So, going back to the Sky Rush, though, after that quick explanation of like kind of like the premise of why certain units are good. This is the current team I'm running. We have a defense break. We have an attack buff, which I don't know if there's anything to really replace the attack buff, unfortunately. We have Alicia as a filler unit. I'd ultimately like to have Delphoy in there, just due to the fact that you're mainly using her for her CC effect. Her critical attack does go off the fact when she freezes people. She can do increased damage to the people that are frozen, which is nice. But end of the day, you kind of are running like Sabrina and Cassandra and Grogan as your carries, anyways, just because they do similar damage. Sabrina does more damage than everyone, but it's more or less like multi-purpose, right? Like Delphoy is also an attacker, so she does good damage as it is, but she sleeps and she does the crush damage up, which means that everyone else, seeing as you're running a full team comp, as long as they're ranged, which in this comp there's only two non-range units, which is Keaton and Jean. So it's like one of those things where it becomes a wash, where like Delphoy is just straight better than Alicia for this kind of stuff. But you can, replace Delphoy with Alicia if you don't have it. That's what I've been doing. Jean's really good. There's not really a good replacement for her from what I've seen so far. Like, I think there's a couple units that are like melee only or ranged only, which you could probably replace with, but nothing like too crazy. Shiwa's really good. Um, if I remember correctly, you could replace her with Anne. I wouldn't recommend it per se, but if anything, I'd actually like, due to limited resources, I'd take Siri over Anne just because at the end of the day, you'd rather have the level 4 crush than, and have the blinded effect for your stages over, just having that 20% crit damage. But if you do have like Delphoy, for example, I would say Anne would be a better replacement in that kind of scenario. Rena, I don't think there's too many attack ups. If you ever need to find like the search bar, you can actually just look. And like for example, Scylla does it to herself. Seek does it to himself. Ikaru does it to melees only. Then Vanessa does it to melees only. So it only really leaves Rena to do it to the range units, which your range units, in my opinion, are typically your damage dealers. There might be an argument for like running all melees for Overworld, but the range difference of just running like melee units is too extreme to not just run, all or primarily range units with a couple like very supportive melees. So there is that. Going back to the team, Celestia is kind of mandatory because of the fact that she gives accuracy to all your range units. Might even be to everyone. I think it's just range though. No, it's to all units. And accuracy is very important in tower defense because you miss a lot. I think after you get through like level or the stage 4 area, you just start missing like crazy. And maybe even before that. And Celestia makes it to where you can climb a lot higher. So that's very important. And then let's see what else we got to talk about for unit wise. Charlotte, I think Charlotte's one of a kind as well. She's not as important, I think, because it's like, don't get me wrong, she's important because she helps cycle abilities. Basically, what she does is she decreases skill cooldown time by 20%, which is very big, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like. What's the downtime between 1 second and 0 seconds? Kind of like the opinion on it is what it feels like. Like, it's one of those things where, like, realistically, it doesn't feel like it's too crazy. But I do think it's better to have her than not have her at the end of the day, right? I think, that's kind of what it comes down to. As far as, like, units that also give that kind of thing. Let's see what there is. CDR up. Allen, but it's melee only. Remy does it to himself, which isn't really good. Charlotte, obviously. I think Vanessa does on her A5, but it's to itself. Chisune A5 to itself. To itself. Chiwa, most of them are going to be to itself, is like the main thing behind this. So, I mean, we already went through these these units, they're all to itself. So, it's one of those things. That's why she's good, not as good per se as to some of the other buffs, but she's still really good. So, that's pretty much like what I recommend for the Sky Rush. Obviously, you got to work with what you have. As far as units that are hard to get in this, Keaton, Rena, Cassandra, and Jean. Cassandra, or actually, let's scratch that. Cassandra's not too hard to get because there's Banner right now, so it's just Keaton, Rena, and Jean, and then Delphoy was the other hard unit to get. But end of the day, like you're gonna get all of them. As far as like the most important one, Cassandra's really important. Grogan's really important, and Sabrina's really important because Sabrina kind of does all your damage. In all honesty, like, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good one. In the next video, we are going to cover how to like push your Sky Patrol. So make sure to come back and watch.